PK Super,
I
I'll be right
sold
with
it.
you. All right, time for some combine conversations. We have some big offseason questions to address. We have our resident general manager, Mike Tannenbaum, on the show with us. Mike T, straight up, should the Raiders trade Maxx Crosby?
Yes, and I love Maxx Crosby, one of my favorite players in the league, how he plays. He's 29. He's still really productive, 32 sacks over the last 3 years. He has 4 years left on a reasonable contract. And if we're in year one with Clint Kubiak, we should make the hard and difficult decision to trade Maxx Crosby. We are in a full rebuild in Vegas.
Roz, if Sauce Gardner went for 2 first, I would imagine Crosby might even go for more. Which team, if you were them, would you say, sell the farm, let's bring him in?
I got 2. I could say almost any, but I narrowed it down to 2. The Bears and the Patriots. These are 2 teams that went very far in the postseason in the second year of their quarterback's rookie contract. They're trying to hit a window. You're looking for difference makers, players that can take you over the top when you come up against the likes of the Rams or the Seahawks in the postseason. Maxx Crosby is that kind of difference maker. I would say Chicago, that got to the divisional round, and the Patriots, who got to the Super Bowl, both looking for players that can take them that next step. I would be looking pretty hard if I were those 2 teams at a Maxx Crosby trade.
J-Mac, jump on in here. Who would you think should be calling?
I love those 2 from Graz, especially the Patriots, of what they had and kind of how they surprised everyone. I'm going with a team in the NFC, and I said this a few weeks ago on Get Up. If I'm the Cowboys, I'm interested in bringing Maxx Crosby, and I think you look at what they have on the offensive side of the ball with Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb and those guys and how productive they were this past season. You can get a guy like Maxx Crosby, not only what he can do production-wise on the field, but the mentality that he brings with him. When you're starting over on a defensive side of the ball, new defensive coordinator and Christian Parker, you need guys to set the tone and on that side of the ball, and he is a tone setter for an entire team. I want a guy like Crosby in my locker room, and I think in Dallas it could be a huge dividends.
All right, J-Mac, we're going to stay with you because Combine is where all the top players are discussed and where all the pending potential free agents or trade block guys are as well. Let's go to Kyler Murray. Mike LaFleur, the new head coach, was non-committal on his future. And Monty Ossenfort, the GM, did not draft him as that was a Steve Keim selection. Who should pursue Kyler Murray, J-Mac?
I'm the Indianapolis Colts. I'm interested. For Shane Steichen and general manager Chris Ballard, they're now getting another year to run it back. We saw the way last season started, and Daniel Jones was on a heater. Him getting injured in December, a knee injury, is going to cost him time in this upcoming season. Why not run it back, sign Kyler Murray if he's released by the Cardinals to a short-term deal, 1-year prove-it type of deal, and see what he can do. Shane Steichen has had success with dual-threat quarterbacks. Can he do that again with a guy like Kyler Murray?
Mike Tannenbaum, we look at now the recent years, Baker Mayfield, Daniel Jones, Sam Darnold, these guys who get a second chance, they can really redeem themselves. Do you see that potential with Kyler Murray in a new home?
Yeah, Peter, absolutely. He's only 29 years old. He's been a productive player. He started 87 games, has 121 passing touchdowns. And to me, ironically, when we talk about a Sam Darnold resurgence, I like J-Mac's idea of the Colts, but I really like the Vikings because they have a very good offensive line with Justin Jefferson, Jalen Naylor, obviously Jordan Addison. They can run the ball, Aaron Jones, TJ Hawkinson. So absolutely, Kyle Murray is still young in his prime, and his A game is very good.
Graz, you know this landscape. What do you make of Kyler Murray and what we're going to hear this week in Indy?
The Cardinals would love to be able to trade him, but it's going to be really difficult. He's got about $37 million in guaranteed salary this year. And if he's on your roster a month from now or 3 weeks from now, third day of the league year, it's another $19.5 million guaranteed for 2027. So I don't know who's going to trade for that. The Cardinals would probably have to send whoever that is a bunch of money. So I think eventually you look at Kyler Murray being released and you're able to get him for pretty much nothing at that point. So yeah, I think the teams that will be looking are teams that think they can kind of rehab him along the lines of a Daniel Jones, a Sam Darnold, you know, a Malik Willis. And you go to a place where you have coaches like that, San Francisco, Minnesota, Green Bay, Indianapolis, and I think you might be able to bounce back pretty quickly. The question is what the role's going to be. Somebody going to bring him in and be their starter, or is someone going to bring him in and sort of look at him as a project to turn around in a year or two?
Mike T, you know this more than anybody. Howie Roseman is the wheeler and dealer king in the NFL and has been for years. You, of course, have done deals with him. You've called him many times. He's respected you for many, many years. Should he trade A.J. Brown? Should the Eagles rip the Band-Aid off and just say, let's move on?
Yeah, Schrags, absolutely. He's given them 4 good years. He's 29 years old. He's had 32 touchdowns as an Eagle. Clearly, there's a lot of noise there, and you'd rather trade a player a year too soon than too late. So I'm sure when Howie Roseman gets to Indy this week, he'll talk to teams like the Baltimore Ravens, the Buffalo Bills, other teams that need a number 1 receiver on the outside. And this draft is loaded with wide receivers. So hypothetically, if he's traded to, let's say, Buffalo for the 26th pick, there will be a quality starting wide receiver who now they could get back on a rookie deal, save a bunch of money, and address some other needs. So I would think by the end of the combine, maybe as we get into early, in terms of free agency, that we see A.J. Brown getting moved.
J-Mac, we know that talents like A.J. Brown aren't just everywhere. If you're the Eagles, you have a new offensive coordinator, you've got a new offensive line coach, you might have some new voices in the room. Would you maybe give it a year and try it one more time with A.J. Brown? Or are you saying ship him off, get something while you can?
No, I want to run it back with A.J. Brown. I look at his first team he got drafted by with the Tennessee Titans, and they decided to trade him and go into the draft and bring in Treylon Burks to come and kind of fill that void of A.J. Brown. That didn't quite work out. If I'm the Philadelphia Eagles, you just mentioned Mannion coming over as their offensive coordinator. You're kind of starting anew. They put the bunny in the locker room last year. That didn't work. Now you're actually trying to change things and bring in a positive future. Keep A.J. Brown there when you have an entire offseason to bring those positive vibes of what the young kids say and try to get back on track.
Good vibes only, right? That's what we talk, positive vibes only, J-Mac? That's how you live. That's your mantra, right? You know it.
Of the potential available quarterbacks, so those that are either free agents, non-draft, or guys you can envision hypothetically getting traded, the most attractive for a QB-needy team, quarterback out there this offseason will be?
Well, it's interesting. Let's go with the aforementioned Miami Dolphins. I mean, Malik Willis to Miami makes sense from a standpoint of he was just there. John Eric Sullivan, their new GM, was the assistant GM of the Packers. Jeff Hafley, their new head coach, was the defensive coordinator of the Packers. Got to go against him a lot in practice. So in the dot connecting world that we do this time of year, that makes a lot of sense to me.
Mr. T, I'm curious to know what your perspective is on the Lamar Jackson contract with the Baltimore Ravens. He's got a huge cap number of $74 million. Owner Steve Bisciotti has said that the Ravens would like to get an extension done before the start of the new league year, which is in a couple of weeks. I'm curious to know how you handle the situation with Lamar Jackson moving forward if you're in that seat in Baltimore.
Well, Chris, first of all, congratulations on your recent roster addition.
Thank you, Mr. T. Thank you. First round pick. Absolutely. Hey, we got a lot of good measurables over there, Mr. T. 6 weeks old, 15 pounds. I'm just saying.
Has Coach Elliott reached out? Like, is there a letter of intent for the class of 2040 or whatever?
So we have an offer letter, but not from that orange and blue school. Mm-hmm. We have one from Michelle Smallman's alma mater, Coach Bielema at Illinois.
That's right.
So waiting on Coach Elliott from Virginia to get on board, but I'm just saying it's starting to roll in now. Mr.
Illinois
T.
first on the scene.
Well, given how much you donate to the school with NIL, I mean, I can't imagine that, we wouldn't have it in our budget to have another Canty at UVA. But as it relates to Lamar, guys, like, to me, there has to be a sense of urgency because the cap number of $74 million makes other moves prohibitive until we get that done. I will take you behind the scenes. I got to tell you that when I was with teams negotiating contracts, I hated when a player didn't have an agent. There's a time and place to have an agent. You guys all know that. And this is the time and this is the place. He's too important of a player. He's also taking up an incredible amount of cap space. So, sometimes things in negotiations, trade people's nerves, understandably. And I just, I think it adds another challenging dynamic relative to, getting this deal done. But I would try to get this done as quickly as possible. I think the average per year is $60 million a year, and then we got to lower the cap number.
Mike, another thing we were talking about this morning is Travis Kelce. Andy Reid was quoted as saying that there's communication with Travis Kelce. That means people want to move forward. I think that's where Travis is, but they don't know exactly whether or not if he's coming back to the Kansas City Chiefs this season or if he's going to call it a career. Even though that he led the Chiefs in almost every offensive category, targets, receptions, yards, touchdowns, receiving first downs, should they want him to come back for another season?
No. When you run a team, sometimes you have to make the honest and sober calculation of paying a player for what they're going to do, not what they've done. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer, all-time great, but he's 37. And you look at the draft via Kenyon Sadiq, Max Clare of Ohio State, Michael Trigg, amongst others. And you look at the best tight ends in the game, guys. They're young. Laporta, Pitts. It's a young man's position, and he's a great player. But you have to be disciplined and say, like, what is he going to do next year? And he's still productive because he's so good. But if I was Kansas City, I would make the tough decision, but the right one for the organization. Thank him, retire his number at the appropriate time, and move on.
We're talking with Mike Tannenbaum, ESPN NFL front office insider here and on Sportsmanlike, presented by Progressive Insurance. Mike, JSN said he should be the highest paid receiver in the NFL. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, and talking about, champagne problems to have. I mean, it's like trying to get the three of you guys signed to an extension. It's basically like you got great players in Devin Witherspoon, JSN, and to me, the non-obvious answer when it comes to Kenneth Walker or Reek Woolen is I would get JSN and Devin Witherspoon in a room, and I would get them signed, 3 days ago because they are great players. They are absolute superstars who are high character, productive players, and they would never, ever, ever, ever leave the program. And I would just try to get that deal done as quickly as possible because we know where the cap's going, where these TV deals are going. So JSN is right, and so is Devin Witherspoon. And